more in 3 hours than 4 years at a woke university. And it's free. Yahoo! The Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, you hear me talk all the time about WWII-era. WWII-era, they are phenomenal partners of this program. Private student loan debt in America totals about $300 billion. About $45 billion of it is labeled as distressed. WWII-era refinances distressed or defaulted private student loans that others simply will not touch. They provide you with a custom loan payment. Go to WWII-era.com. Can you imagine being debt-free and not living under this burden anymore? The first step is contacting WWII-era. Do you have a co-borrower? Well, WWII-era can get them released from the loan, and you can give mom or dad a break. Call 888-WWII-34 or log on to WWII-era.com. That is YREFY.com. You can even skip a payment every 6 months up to 12 times without penalty. Go to WWII-era.com. Let's face it, if you have distressed or defaulted private student loans, nobody is coming to bail you out, and bankruptcy is not an option. Go to YREFY.com. That is YREFY.com. If you or someone you know that might have private student loan debt, they can get you guys out of debt. Go to YREFY.com. That is YREFY.com. We'll be right back. We're back with Kobi and Chapter. I really enjoy this conversation. Maybe Chapter is for you, but you guys can get a free consultation at askchapter.com. Watch.
And we educate them on what their needs and concerns are, and then we figure out what's right for them. If there's a Medicare plan that suits their needs, even if it's one that we don't earn any money on, we will still enroll someone in that Medicare plan. And because it's the right thing to do, we think it creates a long-term relationship with the customer, and it actually makes the end user the customer. A really simple way to think about in any market where are the incentives is who is the customer. If we were to go back to employer health insurance, the reason that it's tied to your employer is really a product of World War II. Mm-hmm. The government was trying to stem inflation and so froze wages. And the only way for employers to compete was to provide other benefits like health insurance, tax-free health insurance. And so we're still eating the cost of that decision half a century later, almost a century later at this point. But there's the employer in that case is the customer. Right, the health insurance company sells to the employer, not to the employee, not to all of us as consumers of the health insurance. It's similar in Medicare. The Medicare broker thinks of the health insurance company as the customer, not the end user. I think that's a fundamental challenge with the industry, and one of the things we've really flipped on its head.
And so to kind of complete the whole point, then, how big are you guys? How many employees? And you have success stories that are flowing.
We've been really fortunate. We are helping hundreds of thousands of Americans navigate Medicare. At this point, we've been around for a few years and growing. We're definitely the fastest growing Medicare organization in the country, one of the fastest growing companies in the country of any archetype. And so, yeah, we're helping a lot of people, and our goal is to help every American.
Yeah, and so you are an entrepreneur, and you started this. Where did you work previously?
I worked at a company called Palantir.
Yeah, I've heard of it. New York Times says they're wanting to spy on everybody.
That is what the New York Times says.
Yeah.
I loved it. There was a Wall Street Journal article about some of the work we did just a couple days ago. And I'm a huge fan of the work we did. I'm very proud of what we did. I was fortunate to be able to support the Marines in the Middle East and support a large number of areas of the government.
Yeah, it's when the New York Times is attacking you, then there's probably there's something of the opposite of the truth there. And so there's been some great people that have come out of that. So let's now talk a little more broadly about government waste. What is your philosophy on the inefficiencies of government and how we can try to modernize it?
It's a really tough problem. I spent almost a decade working with the government while at Palantir and now at Chapter in different ways. I think one of the least sexy but most fundamental improvements that the government needs to make, and they're trying to make now, is around, this is going to sound so silly, but HR policies. How do you hire the best people, incentivize the best people? Because what are organizations? They're groups of people trying to make good decisions. And you need to have a way for the government to hire the best people, to retain the best people, and to let go of people who aren't an appropriate fit. And I think that's one of the hardest things for the government to do, not only because it's the government, but it's not unique to the government. Any large organization has this challenge. These are hundreds of thousands of people in these government agencies. It's a lot of people to manage, and it's hard.
Yeah, and so the more on the HR, he who controls the HR will control the personnel, and with personnel is policy. Where did we go wrong as a country, just more broadly, at the collapse of robust HR? How did we run human resources, hiring, onboarding 40 years, 50 years ago? Not just technologically, but practically. Where did we go? How and why did we go wrong that way?
I think it's been a product of a lot of different issues. One is the government wants to provide more and more services over time. That's just been a general trend across pretty much every administration. And that often includes bringing on more people. And then there are a lot of rules. There are a lot of different interest groups who promote different areas of investment for different groups of people, and that creates sort of different little fiefdoms in the government and in different agencies. And because the sort of political class, the political appointees change roughly every 4 years or every 8 years with the administration change, but you have the civil servant class, which doesn't change, it creates this really interesting and often challenged relationship between people who are there for a very long time and people who are not. And it's really hard. I don't have an easy solution for it. Yeah.
And so what are some of the other massive inefficiencies you think in the government that
technology? Absolutely. Yeah. I think the way that our government procures technology is really stuck in the Stone Age. And I'll give a couple of examples. So one is sort of a defense example, and one is a Medicare example. In the defense world, you have these cost-plus contracts. And so for people who aren't familiar, cost-plus is basically a way of contracting where a private company will say, hey, it's going to cost me $1 to produce this widget, and I'm going to charge the government three times my cost in this case.